Diana Blakemore. I'm going to talk about teaching language and literacy to preschool children. I wrote a research paper concerning this, and I'd like to touch on some aspects of how children learn language and literacy through 3 different countries. So I chose 2 other countries besides the United States that have excellent early childhood education programs, and one is Italy, and it is known to have the best preschool practices in the world. The Reggio Emilia approach is practiced in Italy and has been admired by educators worldwide. Educators in the United States, they admire this practice very much, but they're a little apprehensive in using it here in the United States because it is more of a child-centered approach, and in the United States, the educators usually have more of a structured approach to children's learning. And in Sweden, also is known to have high-quality preschool programs, and they make it a national priority. And also Sweden's educational programs top the OECD rankings almost in every category, and that's another reason why I chose Sweden as a country to compare with the United States. My thesis question is, how are preschool children taught language and literacy in Italy, Sweden, and the United States? So my goal was to compare the 3 countries, and obviously all 3 countries, they teach their children their letters. They teach them about phonological awareness through rhyming words, blending words, segmenting words, manipulating words, and how to write well. But a key point when it comes to Italy is the Reggio Emilia approach emphasizes that children 0 to 6 discover understanding through their critical thinking skills, through listening skills. They use their bodies, they explore images, and they create them based on their personal experiences. So in the Reggio Emilia approach, there's a lot of project-based learning and long-term projects where children interact with each other, they cooperate with each other, and their language skills and their vocabulary is increased by interaction with each other. And here is a short little video on how the Reggio Emilia approach is used in Italy.
When it comes to teaching children in school, there are a few different methods and styles to choose from. One that many people may not have heard of is called the Reggio Emilia approach. This style is quite different from the other forms of traditional teaching in several ways.
Curriculum is emergent rather than fixed, pre-planned. So children have a lot of say in what they want to learn rather than teachers decide for their curriculum.
This approach also calls for young children to be more hands-on in what they are doing.
It's about learning from them. It's about viewing the child as competent and full of potential so that when they come here, we don't feel like, okay, there's all this knowledge that we need to teach them. We're like, okay, what do they know and what can we give them? What materials can we give them to make them build upon that knowledge?
Well, I think the project approach fosters critical thinking, it fosters exploration, its limits are boundless, they're not held to a time constraint. The children pretty much establish when it ends, when interest begins to wane is when the project ends.
In order to fully understand this teaching approach, we must first learn about where it came from. To do that, we have to travel more than 4,000 miles from South Bend to the small village of Reggio Emilia, Italy, shortly after the end of World War II.
Well, it was a community of parents, but it was fostered by Luis Malaguti, who was a teacher riding his bike through a village, and he saw some people building a site, and they said it was a center. And so he stepped in to help, and he became really the head of Reggio Emilia's growth over the years.
And it's through Malaguti's thought process that allows this teaching approach to grow.
According to Malaguzzi, the children are very strong, very powerful, and also their minds are like a plasticity, and then they can be stretched. They have great potential to learn if you guide them in the right way.
The Reggio Emilia approach may have gotten started in Reggio Emilia, Italy, but then how did it make its way to classrooms like this one in South Bend, Indiana?
almost 20 years ago, the 100 Languages exhibit came to South Bend. It was at the Center for History. And so at that time, we had lots of teachers in different grades and different disciplines that went to go see the exhibit that got very inspired by it and came back and said, oh my goodness, you have to check this out.
And since then, the Stanley Clark School has been using the Reggio Emilia approach to teach young students. But if the students are the ones expressing what they want to learn, what role do the teachers play?
The children see me as a learner as well, and so we learn about it together and we explore together, and it's been a lot of fun. You never know what each day is going to bring.
And these teachers are always willing to work right alongside those they're teaching.
We work right along with the child, side by side with the kid. You'll often see us on the floor, sitting at the tables with the students, at the computer researching something with the student. It's not your typical, I'm going to stand in front of the class and teach and direct what we're going to do.
Without a fixed lesson plan, how do teachers know what they should have ready to go to help mold these young minds?
I don't really know what we're going to do tomorrow or the next day, but I know where their interests might take us. So as a teacher, I have to do a lot of documenting what happened that day, and I have to think, okay, what can I bring to the table tomorrow that might enhance that?
Teachers also have to find a way to make sure students want to learn what they're being taught.
In the Reggio approach, if you're following the student's lead and you're listening to their conversations and you're talking to them and they're telling you kind of things that they're interested in or areas that they might want to study, then they're excited about it.
Parents are considered a child's first teacher, and school teachers are their second. But the Reggio Emilia approach takes the concept of teachers a step further.
Well, the learning environment I would describe as more natural learning environment, so there's lots of natural elements, and they use a lot of materials that you might not find in a traditional classroom.
A changing and evolving learning environment is considered to be an essential part of a young child's education.
Teachers view environment as a third teacher because they design the environment that is appropriate for children.
So we put a great deal of time and energy and care into the design and setup of our environment. And the way we begin at the beginning of the year is very open-ended, so that as we get to know the kids and as they claim the space as their own, then it really becomes, personalized and individualized to them.
Of course, with a teaching approach that is still considered new, how is the rate of success measured?
Being part of a larger school, we've had the luxury of seeing how these kids do when they move into lower school and into middle school. And we even have kids now that are at the high school level that are all excelling. And certainly part of that is because of the really strong foundation that they get here at the very beginning.
The Reggio Emilia approach may seem different and can often be hard to pin down. But there are those who feel this style of teaching could have limitless potential.
This allows children to learn by being curious and being creative and being critical thinkers, and those are also important as lifelong skills.
All right, so hopefully that explained to you a lot about the Reggio Emilia approach, which is an excellent approach to teaching children language and literacy skills in Italy. Now in Sweden, it is believed that traditional books are no longer enough to understand meaning, but learning should come from a variety of sources because society is dependent on digital technology. So in Sweden, they add tablets to their early childhood education programs, and they also add educational apps as well with the tablets to enhance the children's learning. Also, an important concept I learned was that teachers need to interact well with the children while they're using digital technology in order to learn language and literacy concepts more effectively. And here's another short little video on introducing technology to young children.
Although introducing very young children to computers has become quite common, sometimes we hesitate for a wide variety of reasons. Dr. Doug Clements from the University of Buffalo and Dr. Sudha Swaminathan from Eastern Connecticut State University encourage us and give us the keys to success.
What we found lately in mathematics education and in technology education is that computers can really help kids bridge the worlds between their concrete experience and abstract mathematical thinking at a very young age.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
So we know that young kids, 2, 3 years old, can abstract very interesting ideas and can civilize them, at least in spoken language and very soon in written language as well. So where does the computer, so where does technology fit in all this thing? Technology can put on the screen multiple representations of these kind of ideas, and connecting those representations can help kids bridge the world between concrete 4 blocks and the abstract idea of 4. But we now know that concrete is much more about meaningfulness than it is about physicality. So that when kids see 4 objects, and there's a picture of 4 dogs on the screen, that's as meaningful to them as having 4 dogs. And indeed, the 4 dogs on the screen can be ordered and thought about and manipulated with much more control than 4 dogs running around your floor can be. So that can help kids make the kind of connections between their concrete experience and this new abstract experience. So where's the teacher? The people that have feared, oh, if computers come in, they'll replace teachers and everything will be mechanistic. First of all, the computer needs to be embedded in a rich educational environment, of which the computer is only a small part. The computer role in the classroom is to just be one more teaching aid. The teacher is the one that controls that. She's the one that has to pick the educational experiences for the kids on the computer to make sure they are receiving the hands-on thing and see the connections between their hands-on work on physical objects and their hands-on work on these computer objects as well. Furthermore, kids are more interested in computers, more likely to learn from computers if the teacher's nearby and able to interact with them. The teacher is wise to be nearby, not on the kid's back all the time. Actually, the research shows if you sit there too much, kids don't learn as much. But if you're available for that question when kids really do get stuck.
Okay, so that was about introducing technology to young children. I thought that was very interesting how teachers really need to be not on their back but near them and answering questions that they have to enhance their learning. So when it comes to juxtaposition of the countries, Italy is different from the United States because this country uses the Reggio Emilia approach, and many educators in the United States admire this approach to learning. Sweden is different in its approach to teaching language and literacy than Italy and the United States because this country gives tablets to their young children in order to teach them concepts. And the United States uses books to teach children literacy concepts, which makes it also similar to Italy and Sweden. Also, parents are highly encouraged to be a part of their children's literacy experiences. So this is how some of the countries are similar and how they're different. And I do believe that United States could learn from Italy as far as implementing the Reggio Emilia approach and implementing tablets into their early childhood education programs to further enhance their learning, to give them many aspects so they can learn more. Also, my conclusion is each country can learn from each other regarding teaching language and literacy. Tablets should be used along with books to enhance their children's understanding of language and literacy. Educational apps should also be used to enhance their learning and understanding, and teachers need to interact with students when using technology to further enhance their learning, and society is changing, so early childhood education programs need to change as well by implementing tablets into their programs to further enhance their understanding of language and literacy concepts. And I want to thank you very much for listening. All right, thank you. Okay. see if I can stop. How do I get this here?